Hi all, we're back here, and still in Hanoi in Vietnam at the moment. We've been transported from the Dragon Airport Hotel right into the city now, right into the city centre. There's mopeds flying all over the place, and you'll have a good time crossing the road. I'll tell you that. The traffic's great, actually. It's great to just walk across the road at any time. You need some balls of steel, but it's perfectly acceptable just to walk really, really slowly and deliberately to cross the road, and you'll be fine. Granted, cars might be giving you a horn beep every now and then, but the mopeds just seem to go around you, flow around you like a river or something. It's always interesting to see to do it. You'll always get a rush afterwards too. So I'm currently in the CWD hotel in Vietnam. It's definitely a step above the Dragon Airport Hotel, I'll tell you that. No disrespect to the hotel, but there's nearly 12 floors on this one, and it's got beautiful views. Beautiful views of the entire cityscape. Some of it is neon, some of it's still quite old. Some of the old parts remind me of the Hutongs in Beijing when I was there last year. And then the lobby, big hotel, good bit of a good dining area actually. It's quite huge, and it's catered to many people sitting down there. And a few board meetings always going on at any one time. The bathroom, of course, yeah, it's great. The bathroom's got the shower this time. It's a functioning shower, and it's got the bath, so you can actually stay in and clean yourself properly. Otherwise, it's fairly standard, but it's worth noting just how short I am when I'm in. I feel so tall when I'm in the shower because the shower is clearly not designed with Irish and English people in mind. You always just feel so tall, and you just have to bend your knees a bit while you're cleaning yourself. Of course, we have the mini fridge as well, but the first thing me and the lads have done is just got a big bag of cans. We went across the road to the Kmart, or to the little market across the way, got a load of Saigon specials, or the Bia Hanoi, and we just threw them in the fridge, and that was that. It's always good to have a ready supply of cans because you never know when the next party might happen. There's been a few parties around in the hotel, but nothing's been too crazy or over the top. We've been having a few room parties. The highlight so far has been just by the balcony with my roommate Jack, Jonathan, Cian, Oren, and Owen. We're all just sitting just outside in the lovely weather, just looking out at the skyline, neon lit, beautiful place, and you're just having a drink, just taking it all in. We were very quiet for a lot of it. We were just taking in all the skyline. It's beautiful look to it. I think it got a bit too much when we decided to watch Batman, but because at that point we were still a bit jet lagged, and we're just like, nah, we're halfway through the movie. Let's just go to bed. The actual drive to the hotel was pretty interesting. I'd never, even with the Beijing experience behind me, I didn't think it would be that crazy. One of the lads from the Dragon Airport Hotel, he gave me a lift back to the hotel at no charge. And what he did, he went on the 5-lane highway, which is basically how you get out of the airport, and went straight into the oncoming lane. Then he indicated right, with maybe 100 meters of oncoming traffic, and then he turned right into just a flow lane, and then just went into the right lane for driving here on the right side of the road. We had 6 people in the car. The car was maybe the size of the Toyota Corolla back home. And none of us could wear seatbelts. There's no space for it. And he was on his phone texting and ringing. And it was just kind of really funny, really quirky. It's just something that would, any one of those offences probably get you banned in Ireland in any other way. But I guess what it's like over here. You got to get used to driving in the wrong side of the road, perhaps. But then I got picked up. I think it was by Ang. I think it was. And we went with Cian, and we got in a minivan with a few of the girls. They arrived from well, I think some of them came from Moscow, and other ones from Heathrow, and stopped in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh as well on the way in. And we just got a one long trip into the city centre of Hanoi, and it started out with lots of fields and the buffalo. I'm sure it's buffalo here because it's oxen. Like they have the weird horns and all that, and a few jungly environments, lots of palm trees, green areas, vegetation is quite around the place. Then we crossed over this massive bridge. It's called the Long Bien Bridge, if my map's anything to go by. And it's just over the Red River, and it's a huge thing. It's a huge monument. And then once you're over that, you're pretty much in the city centre. You're in the Hanoi centre, like the dead centre of Hanoi. It's great. And then the drive went through a few more things, went through markets and see a few of the things on offer. Unsurprisingly, a few dogs in there, but no baby tigers at least. Hopefully. So it's a good start for the hotel. I mean, the minute I was in here, myself, Jonathan, Cian, and Oren, we just decided to go out. We just go and explore the city for a little bit. So we walked around the streets. We stopped off at a cafe, roughly about a kilometre away from the hotel. It wasn't too far away. And we just sat down and just thought, first thing I want is a beer. Just give me something, a Saigon special. Lovely to have. We were outside, just chilling out with the beers, having a laugh. And then Cian had a coconut coffee, and that was really interesting. He just mixed it. He didn't know if it was a coffee or a coconut or what it was, but it was just really tasty, and he had it all in. And then we just walked around the place. We saw some more of the massive West Lake. I mean, there's gonna be more of that when I see around the place. And then just made it back. And then after that, we had our first taste of hotel food. It's a bun chow. It was some kind of pork. It was a pork soup. It was like the first kind of pho I've had. So it's the pork, the noodles, the spicy sauce, and it really worked well together. But what they didn't tell us is that it's kind of like IKEA. You have noodles in one bowl, you have vegetables in the other, and you have some herbs in the other, and then you have the pork in the soup just as it is, and you're meant to mix them all together. And I didn't know that. I was just kind of eating one piece at a time and completely missing the point of the meal. But it was tasty nonetheless. I've been here a while, so the problem with the hotel food is a bit like Beijing, and that after a few days you get a bit bored with it, and obviously it's only a matter of time before you end up trying the crazy things like the scorpions and the spicy dumplings and what have you. So hopefully I'll be having some more of that tomorrow. I'm just going to have to try something outside of here. It's getting a bit restrictive. You're just in the hotel a bit too long. But the grand bit of socialising at the moment has to have been the trip to the Old Quarter, to the Beer Street. Lots of old areas. You go in, but then when you're in, the pubs, the bars, the clubs, there's lots of them. And a few, not really as much neon as I expected, but it's still fantastic. And you have mopeds are still obviously driving around. You'll never get rid of those. And we stopped off in a place called My Fam. And I just had a few Saigon specials. And then I realised that there's just a Vietnamese man. He was the barman, obviously. And he just gave out glasses for a mere 7,000 dong for a glass of whatever the house draft beer was. And of course, after a while, you're just like, yeah, give me some of that. I mean, 7,000 dong it's not even 30 US cents, I suppose, at this point. So it's like, why not have that? And it's really good. It's just great to just be out. It's so good to be outside. I know it's Irish people we just never get a chance to eat outside, have drinks and relax. And it's just fantastic to do that. Just once in a while to do that. The music obviously was great. It was pretty mad. We were outside a club. We were outside the Maze. That was the big club, and then there were some others around the place. There was the Hair of the Dog, which we went to later. And you love the Hair of the Dog. The Hair of the Dog. They were playing the Spice Girls. They're playing One Direction. They're playing Westlife. They're playing all the tunes that you really would not have. You thought they'd left 20 years ago. Like they're pretty bad. Pretty corny. Like, I mean, I like some of those tunes, but they're really corny. But they played all of them, and of course, I was having a bit of a sing along with some of them. But places like the Maze, they're more of a club setting, and they also had lots of drum. They had a drum and bass session. I know, Rob Tobin, if you're watching this, it was a bit like Apex, and it was just a lot of bit like By the Way and In Motion. Lots of just dum 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 dum. It's fantastic. I didn't think I'd hear a club like that around here, but there it is. There was also some deep house and electronica, and I think there was in the hostel there was some acoustic sessions. So, I mean, there's something for everyone around here. You never know when you'll stumble upon something nice. And then, of course, we got a taxi home for what must have been about a tenner. Really, it's a tenner for 4 people in a taxi. It's just really cheap to get around here, and then I just knocked out, went into sleep. And then, of course, I hear some shouting outside the window. So I go out, and it turns out to be some of the lads, and they're like, come on, Paul, come on, there's a session in room 903 or something. So We go up and it's just big room session, big old bag of cans, music's playing, some Doors actually was being played on music, and crisps and everything. It was a nice old session, nice old thing to finish off. The obvious problem is that we're a teaching class ultimately, so the party finished at about 3 in the morning, and we had 12 hours worth of learning the next day, and it was a rough 12-hour day, I'll tell you that. Now granted, the 12-hour day itself, it was structured very similar to, I did a TEFL course before this. I did a 20-hour in-class TEFL, and it's very similar. They just describe what you need to do with the classes. Crazy. They assume you know the basics of what to do in a TEFL class or a TEFL classroom, and they're almost giving you real world applications, and it's great to be up in a class demonstrating and just doing activities that might come in useful. After that came the Vietnamese lessons, and Jesus, that was a lot to take in. The poor woman now, with all respect for her, she really is trying. She did it all with a smile, and it was great to learn at least a few phrases. I mean, we had to learn the numbers 1 to 10 and the letters, and then we had to get phrase books for survival tips, and then various vegetables, various modes of transport. It's an awful lot to take in just one class. So obviously there's a second class coming up, so we'll see how that goes. Finally, the BME management came into the place. They were just in to see how we were getting on, but unfortunately it was just the timing of it. I mean, obviously the whole night before didn't help, but even with that, you're starting a day at 7, and then they're in at 7:30 in the evening. It's 12 hours later, and your brain is fried from all the learning, and you just feel bad for them that they just came in at an inopportune time. They were doing some kind of sample lessons to us as if we were the kids, and that was an interesting take on it. But it was just that we were just not quite in the mood for it. I mean, if they came in maybe a day earlier, maybe 5 o'clock or something, they would have got a much better reception. Now, a day later, we did go to the Gia VN restaurant. This was actually yesterday, so we went in there, and there were some nice things. There was a nice, really spicy satay pork. Now, that was nice, and again, there was only one thing that I didn't really like about the pork, and that was that there's an awful lot of fat. Vietnamese pork tends to have a lot of fatty bits on it, or you really just want to get into the meat of it, really. And the duck was nice. It's got bones, so the weird thing I'm going to say about this meal is that every time I like something, there was also something on the same thing that I didn't quite like. Like a battered bean curd, that's something I didn't think would be nice, but it turned out okay. The duck was okay, but again, there were bones in it, so I wouldn't put it as nice as the crispy Peking duck that I had last year, but it was still very nice. And when you have the chopsticks, it's good to just get into it. And a few Saigon specials are always nice too. The bus trip was just crazy. We just got on the bus, and then it turns out there's only 2 buses. One was going to be sent back to the hotel. The other bus was taking us to the old quarter. And clearly there wasn't enough room on the single coach, so we ended up having to stand on a coach. The entire coach was filled. We overloaded it with everyone standing on, and even the course director was in the very front of the bus, and it was just mayhem as we just tried to stay incognito, I suppose, as the lights were off, and we just tried our best to stay hidden from authorities. But it's not like they really care that much because the traffic's chaotic everywhere, so what can you do about it? Funny, there were some good tours actually. We did a tour. We did the Ngok Song Temple. I just know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but you cross this beautiful red bridge, and there's lots of marbles, or not really marble, it's definitely stone, and stone tigers, stone turtles, and if you find a turtle, it's good luck. And I'm pretty sure it was on Francis Brennan's Vietnam tour as well. And you're just walking around the temple, you said a little prayer, you have some incense sticks. Remind me of the Buddhist temples in Beijing again, referencing the place. Next we went to the Trang Phuoc Pagoda, I think that's how I pronounce it. I'm obviously pronouncing it wrong, but it's worth saying. But I went there, very tall place, ancient place, and yeah, the building, the actual monument was rebuilt. It was probably rebuilt a few times, but the structure has been very similar. There's an ancient tree, and everyone was just there walking, taking photos, anything that was interesting and noticed. And finally we went to the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum, the Ho Chi Minh Square, and We didn't actually go and see Ho Chi Minh himself. I think that's going to be for another day. I'm going to have to do that myself. But we saw the gardens, we saw some of the old temples, we saw the presidential palace, which it's just as amazing as I thought it was going to be. And the square was fantastic. I think we're pretty sure we got to see a changing of the guard as well. They were just walking about in their white uniforms, and it's fantastic. The square, again, I keep mentioning Beijing, but it reminds me of Tiananmen Square. It's very, very open, very exposed, but it's great to see. It's great to see another place. One thing I do need to get is, obviously I need to get some postcards. I need to send them back home. It's something that's been on my list for a while. I need to send just a few more photos around the place. The Wi-Fi has been quite patchy over the last few days, but anytime there's a chance, I'll just send a message or send a link and see how it goes on. I also need to see more of the old quarter when I think about it, because there's not. Again, apart from Beer Street, I really haven't, on the bus trip on the way in, I haven't seen too much of it. And of course, I'm going to have to see at the school that I'm going to be teaching. Apparently, they're going to be starting from next week, so fingers crossed. We'll hope we're doing okay. At least I'll have an assistant teacher there, and I'll have the lesson plan sorted. I've made up a few templates, so hopefully that will do. So yeah, that's been my trip around Hanoi in the CWD hotel. It's been very nice, and good bit of crack anyway. Good bit of crack, and the lessons have been long, but we've done out. We've had a good time. It's been a good opportunity to explore Hanoi as well. A real proper chance to see the shops and what it's all about. So it's been fantastic, and we hope to see you soon.